Okay, I'm the only one in this room professional enough that I know of to carry this Glock 40. I'm the only one. Right?
Barrett Kendrick, Bearco Training. You've probably seen that video before, but if you haven't, don't worry, I'll come back and talk about it more in a couple of moments. Last week in Texas, you had an employee at a gun range working on a rifle. When he discharged the rifle, bullet ends up striking someone in the parking lot getting out of his car. That someone was the father of triplets that will no longer be around. That was permanent. This week in Louisiana, you had someone, a customer, that brought what he believed to be an unloaded firearm into a gun store. The employee takes control over it in the process of trying to make sure it's unloaded, discharges that gun, and ends up striking someone in the calf. That person will survive it. But still, that was permanent, right? It was shot. That's not going to go away. I can't tell you how many times that I've received firsthand information about guns that have been discharged in places like gun stores by employees and by customers. It's happened in gun shows, both locally and certainly on a national level, as well as it's happened in countless number of homes. Yeah, let's go back and look at that video again.
Empty weapon. This is a Glock 40. 50 Cent, Too Short, all of them talk about Glock 40. Okay, I'm the only one in this room professional enough that I know of to carry this Glock 40. I'm the only one. No more. Is everybody all right?
What you had was a DEA instructor talking about firearm safety in a school to a bunch of kids and their parents. Now, I can hear it right now. You know, a lot of you are sitting there talking about safety rules in your mind right now. That's why you always treat guns as if they're loaded. You always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. You never point it at anything you're not willing to kill or destroy. You always keep it unloaded until you're using it. You can see it. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you're not shooting. And you've got a lot of absolutes that are taking place there. The problem is that those rules can't be followed all the time, so what happens is they end up breeding complacency. Firearm safety doesn't start with a set of rules, it starts with your brain. I first started looking at safety more as a concept working around ICE training a few years ago. And in our courses, that's what we teach, safety more as a concept, risk versus benefit. The benefit should always clearly outweigh the risk. The rules that we teach keep your finger somewhere other than inside the trigger guard when you're not shooting. We teach students for a very good starting point, where the upper slide meets the lower frame, that seam, that's a fantastic tactile reference point. Keeping that finger straight indexed along that unless we're shooting. Keep the gun in a generally safe direction whenever possible. I get it, safe directions aren't always possible in life. However, we can choose a generally safe direction. And our third rule, keep in mind that you're responsible for a deadly weapon. If it was used negligently or maliciously, you could be responsible for death to yourself or somebody else. That's a bigger picture rule. These rules provide guidance. That is a bigger picture rule. Firearms demand a tremendous amount of respect. What happens when people lose that respect? They get hurt. They hurt themselves. They hurt other people. Use your brain. Use your mind. Critically think. That's how we help prevent this stuff. In that video, we saw someone at a gun range who believed his rifle ran out of ammunition, drops the magazine out of it, pulls the bolt back, and does what? Presses the trigger because he wants to verify the gun was unloaded. What was the result? Gun ends up going off. Hopefully the round went into the berm. There's been a lot of people that have discharged rifles or discharged weapons that way. They wanted to verify. Okay, if you want to check to see if your gun's unloaded, rather than pressing the trigger that could result in it going off, let's take the source out. Let's take the magazine out. Let's pull the slide back. Let's pull the bolt back. Let's look in and verify that it is actually unloaded. Taking that seriously because you're using your brain, remember? And then, whenever possible, if we need to declare that gun unloaded, let's have someone also verify the same. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. Please share this with your friends and don't forget to subscribe.
I just shot myself.